You are listening to American Tower Climbers.
This is your host,
Brian motherfucking Campbell.
Saddle on up, hold on tight,
and enjoy the ride.
because we will be going live in 3, 2, 1.
My guest today is Kyle Mclaren. He's a badass. He's a good marksmanship. Went out shooting with him. Great worker. He's been my right-hand man for, I'd say, almost 2 or 3 years now.
Yeah, about 2.
And you're just an all-around great man, dude.
Thank you. Not so bad yourself.
So welcome to the show. The first thing I would like to talk about, it's kind of a tradition that I'm starting, is how did you get into Telecom? Hey, before we do that, cheers, man.
Cheers.
If you don't know by now, I'm moving. So this is probably the last podcast in a while that you and I are going to have face-to-face. So
Yep.
we've got to have a goodbye beer.
Yes, sir.
We're drinking these Bud Light Seltzer Mango 5%.
No hangover.
There you go. Basic bitch season is starting. You know, Sean, he says it's he calls it PSL season. Pumpkin Spice Latte season.
Yeah.
So what's better than to start off with Bud Light Seltzer? But anyways, yeah, go ahead and explain how you got into Telecom.
So, like I mentioned to you before, I set up my LinkedIn profile to try and get wind turbine jobs. At the time I was working in the wind turbine industry. I did like a 12-week course over back in England, Newcastle. It was kind of for the unemployed, so I did the course. It was 12 weeks, didn't get paid or anything, so it was like kind of a free course if you were unemployed at the time. So I didn't take any work, so I got the course for free. Did the 12-week course. It was pretty long and strenuous and stuff, but 2 days after I finished the course, I got the wind turbine job, and then...
So this is all back in England.
Yeah.
And for those who don't know, if you can't tell by now, you're from...
Newcastle, England.
Born and raised?
Yeah. Born in South Shields. Newcastle's the biggest city, so I always say Newcastle, but South Shields people are called sand dancers, like...
Sand dancers?
Yes, sir.
Oh, this is new, man.
Yeah.
Is there sand there? I don't.
Oh, it's right in the beach.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, how's the beaches there
It's nice.
compared to
The
California?
water-
What's
the-
different?
The water temperature's freezing.
Yeah.
It's in the North Sea, so, but now the beaches are pretty clean, well maintained.
Sand dancer. I like that,
yeah.
man. That sounds like a rave name or something you would have at the Burning Man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like the little sand dancer section or something.
Yeah. But no, I actually live, like, my parents live in Jarrow. It's like Jarrow, South Shields are in between, like, Newcastle, Sunderland. But I born and raised in, like, Jarrow, South Shields area. So getting back to the course, I finished the course, and 2 days later, I literally got a job to work in France on the wind turbines, working on, like, Velux turbines and stuff, like 100-meter towers, climbing them every day. Some of them had elevators, some of them didn't. And then after that, I was in there for 6 months.
Yeah.
I came back. I had like a falling out with like it's like a mom and pop in company. Had like a falling out with them. Traveled home. Didn't want to go back to work for them.
The company was in England?
No, it was
Or
like
France?
Yeah, it was in France. Yeah, but it was like a German company, and it was like a recruitment agency that got me the job.
Gotcha.
So the pay was terrible. Anyways, came back
When we're
home.
talking about pay, how much?
At the time,
Yeah.
I started
out
on £10 an hour.
So
Like
dollar-wise.
$13 an hour.
$13 an hour.
Yeah.
To go climb these windmill.
Yeah, just to get me foot in the door, because at the time, like, there's a lot of people doing these courses. So at the time, like...
Was it a mixture of people as far as ethnicities, language, or they all spoke English?
I like everyone. Like, Europe, like, the wind turbines are massive. Like, you've got English, Scottish, like, French,
Yeah.
even, like, Italians, Romanians, like, Polish, all going for the same
So
kind
it's
of
just a
work.
mixture of people.
Yeah.
Damn. Did you get along with them?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Just, like, some of them can be... I don't know, like the owners of that company, like, I'm not going to deal, but they weren't the best. Like,
Hey, you can say whatever you want, man.
I know, but
It could cross the pond. These words can cross the
Exactly.
pond, and
Yeah.
you might be blackballed for the rest of your life. But
yeah, social media. Nah, but I didn't like it, so I left there in like the early 2017, and then early 2017, and then I got like I say, going back to the LinkedIn page, I did all my profile, put all my experience on there, got endorsed from like different friends and people I work with, and then I got like a message on LinkedIn asking if I had any telecommunications experience. Obviously, I said no, and then the next like one thing led to the other, and it was like a recruitment company in England, which are based over here too. And they were like, okay, well, we've got several positions open up for America. We've got like Florida, Orlando, Florida, Dallas, Texas, LA, California, like 18 different markets in the US. And I was like, I don't have any experience. I just like a lot of recruitment companies on LinkedIn, they all try and like middleman you. So the bigger companies, like the ones we work for, like Ericsson, they'll recruit for Ericsson. But then they'll take a massive chunk of your pay. So like, let's just say Ericsson are going to pay you directly. Let's just say like, I don't know, 20, 30 an hour. Like these recruitment agencies will try and hire you on for like 8 to 10 an hour. Like that first job on the wind turbines.
Yeah, of course.
So
they're trying to lowball you.
Exactly. So prime examples, I used to get messages on LinkedIn to go and like, when I was working as a diver, I used to get messages to go and work in like Qatar.
Let's go back to that, because that fascinates me more. To me, tower climbing is not that dangerous, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, I've been doing it a while. I've never had anybody hurt. I haven't seen anything crazy. I've been in some sticky situations. It can be dangerous.
Yeah.
I mean, the beginning of this year, it's been a crazy-ass year. I think I told you a story about a tower falling down, and the guys, what it was, someone was rigging something, right, with a crane, dropped something on a guide wire, the whole tower went down, 2 guys were on it, and they fell like 200 plus feet or something like that.
Feet.
Yeah, and they survived. So that's pretty damn dangerous, but that's rare. I've never heard of that before, and they survived. That's crazy. So you started explaining to me about diving, which is, to me, water is very unforgiving, even in still water, because there's so many more factors. You don't have to worry about breathing up on a tower. I've never heard of anybody saying, hey, the oxygen's running low, we got to go down. Whatever, yeah. So, and one of the stories I've heard, not to go too off on the topic of that, with Cowboy, his story about he went, I think it was for fun.
Cave diving,
got lost, was running out of air.
Yeah.
So one of the things that you told me that was very fascinating was that ship that crashed.
Yeah.
What ship was it?
The Costa Concordia.
And then the guy just bounced out. He said,
the captain, Scatino.
And I guess there's a long ongoing quote or whatever. I don't know what it is, but the tradition is if the ship goes down, you go down with it.
Yeah.
That fool said, nope.
He was the first one off.
And I thought it was pretty cool. I didn't know that you participated in recovering that ship.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how long were you out there for? Well, one, it was off the coast of Greece or Italy? Italy.
The west coast of Italy. Yeah.
And you went out there.
Yeah.
And recovered it. And it took how many years?
Like 3 years total.
Damn.
Yeah. So I was on the project for like 2.5 years. Obviously, the geologists and engineers like wanting to work up a plan, because the easiest thing to do is just literally push it, because it was on like an incline.
Correct.
On the island.
Yeah.
The easiest thing to do was just push into deeper water and just forget about it, get out of sight of the like local residents. Like the island I was living on was like a population of like 500 or 1,500.
So before climbing, you were doing this, diving.
Yeah.
And what I think is the coolest thing, one of the main topics that I would love to talk about is, unfortunately, especially with 2020 going on and the pandemic and borders closing down, I have a lot of people asking me, hey, can I come work in the States? And to me, I'm like, it's pretty hard. One, it's hard for anybody to travel in and out of the country, just being citizens. Yeah. 2, work's up and down always. So I think you got lucky, man.
Oh, definitely. 100%. Like,
but before that, I'm sorry, you were diving.
Yeah.
And what made you stop diving?
Just like, it wasn't like continuous work. It was like the definition of contracting. Like for a plumber, they might have a big project on for like 2 or 3 months or 2 or 3 weeks, and then they might be quiet for a week. It was kind of like that with me. Like I would go away, do these like like 90-day trips, 12-hour days, like working every day. And then I would come home, and then if it was a big project like the Italian cruise ship one, like you kind of knew you were going to go back unless you did something wrong. But projects after that, it was like, okay, you got a phone call, oh, we need you like to come to this country like tomorrow, and you had to like kind of like use your initiative and just go out there, do what you had to do just to get the work. Yeah. But then after that, you didn't know when the next project was coming. Not just that though, like the diving industry like 5-10 years ago was booming, like, and then with the oil crashes and stuff, like
so the projects are always different. So it might be a ship, it might be a
pipeline,
routine. I'm assuming routine maintenance.
Yeah.
Do you ever scrape off barnacles off the ship and stuff like that? Right.
Yeah. So diving just wasn't like as consistent as I like. You know what I mean? Like it was good money, but it wasn't consistent. Like it was
up and down.
Yeah, it was
much like telecom.
Yeah, exactly. It was like a competitive industry. There was divers like much better than me. So I don't know.
Like, what makes them better?
Just experience. Like,
faster.
I'm more efficient in the water. Like I was like still kind of new. I was brand new going out to the Italian job, and then so I'm working with guys that are like 40, 50, and they've got like 20 years of diving experience and stuff. So like you just try your best, you know what I mean? But it wasn't just that. It was just like the consistency was the biggest factor. Like it was good money, but
So how long did you do diving for?
4 or 5 years.
Damn. So give me a story. Give me the craziest or funniest or whatever story, diving or dangerous.
What that I was involved in?
Yeah.
I think I've told you about this one before. We were this night. It was like we had different shifts: 7 till 7, 9 till 9 in the morning till.
And where is this at?
This is on the Italian cruise ship.
Okay. And so you guys are working 24/7.
Yeah.
Night to day, day to night.
Yeah. So we had.
Holy crap.
Yeah, we had a team working 7 in the morning till 7 at night.
Yeah.
But this was just like doing the day shift. Then we had like a team that came in 2 hours later at 9 and then finished 2 hours later at 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
So the Italian, like the barge we were working on, they only got paid for 12 hours. So they didn't get paid in any overtime. And then
so they're out like at 12, they're like, I'm out.
Yeah.
And then someone else comes in.
Yeah, but no one replaced them. So we were on this day shift, and for some reason I was on the 7 till 7 shift, and the salvage master let the 9 till 9 shift go at like 10, 11. But we were diving, and we had to like at the time we were sandbagging like an anchor block. The anchor block we drilled with rebar, and then we were going to run the chains and the dynemas and the grommets, the wire grommets underneath the ship, which got welded on the other side, and then that was used to what do you call it?
So let's paint a picture more with the start of your day. So where are you staying at? In a hotel?
Yeah, they put us up in a hotel.
How was the hotel? Was it nice?
Yeah, pretty nice.
Running water?
Yeah.
Electricity, all that stuff? Yeah. And you're bunked up with somebody?
No, you had your own.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. It was an American company too, so.
And then you have your clothes, for a week or two?
Oh, no, for 3 months.
3 months, damn. Yeah. So you pretty much have to bring all your clothes over.
Yeah.
And then what would you do in your time before you started your shift?
There's not much you can do, really. Like all the bars and restaurants and like breakfast places didn't open until like 6 or whatever. So you would just wake up, go to the port, eat some breakfast, and then go straight to the barge. And then you would come back for lunch for like 30 minutes or an hour, and then go back till 7.
Damn.
Then you could finish, and then you go to one of the restaurants or the bars, or just hang out with the guys out there.
And then, so how far away is your job site?
It was like, it wasn't that far. This one, it was, you could literally see the ship from the shore.
Okay.
I'll show you some pictures later. It was pretty nice. But yeah, it was like 12-hour shifts every day. But yeah.
And did you have your own vehicle, or did you take a taxi, a bicycle?
No, it was just like literally what do you call it? A tender boat. It was just like a little boat, and the Italian guys living there.
Oh, like a dinghy, like the ones in the harbor over here. And it's so small. You go to the dock there. That's walking distance from your hotel.
Yeah,
and you just kind of build a relationship probably with a person on the little boat, or just someone different.
Oh well, this is a good story.
Okay,
right. So this happened on Friday the 13th, 2012, right? Friday the 13th.
That's when the ship went down?
That's when
or?
the ship hit the rock.
Oh, man.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
So it hit the rock, it came back round, and it basically, like, the wind brought it back to the island. So basically there was massive contracts, like the geologists were trying to see what they want to do. And the tender boats, they were having, like, negotiations with that. And apparently I forgot the company that got it, but apparently the head of that company was Italian mafia.
Damn.
Right? But this bigger company bid, like, give the Italian government a better bid for the tender service. So basically the tender boats would pick us up from the dock and then take us to the different, like, barges and, like, vessels out there.
Okay.
To go and work on. Apparently, let's just say the bigger company, like, quoted $1,000 a day for the service, right?
Okay.
And the other company could only quote $1,500 or $2,000 a day.
Okay.
Well, the head of the Italian mafia for that company apparently sent the other owner of the company who bid it. Like, this is just a rumor. I'm not sure if it's
I believe it, man.
static abroad. They sent a picture of someone's hand. Oh, sorry, they did send a picture of, like, a horse's head in someone's bed. And then they actually sent a horse's head.
Whoa, this is the Godfather, bro. Have you seen the Godfather?
Nah.
Yeah, they do that shit. So, you sure it wasn't a clip from? Have you seen the video?
Nah.
Oh, okay.
Nah.
No, they do. So you've heard of the Godfather?
Yeah.
I can't believe you've never seen any of the movies.
Nah.
They literally, I don't know if it was the Godfather 1 or 2. They cut a horse's head off because the guy owned a bunch of horses for, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
Cuts one of his prize horses' heads off and puts it in his bed with his wife. That's sleeping and stuff.
Yeah.
So either they pulled that off that movie or they actually did it.
Yeah. Well,
but I believe they did it.
So a lot of the Sicily guys, like, they're crazy. And one of the ROV pilots, Mauro, used to speak to all the different Italian guys, and he said, like, literally don't talk to him in a bad way because you might not see tomorrow.
You
get
smacked
stuff,
up.
Well, you might not see tomorrow, but apparently they sent, like, a finger or an actual hand into one of the guys off the other company just to get the bid.
Holy shit.
And they won the bid for the tender service for 3 years. It was like a multi-million-dollar.
Oh, I believe it.
So that was sketchy.
No,
But getting
so
back to
this boat service, it's the mafia.
Yeah, pretty much.
And they won that job because they sent over somebody's hand.
Yeah.
Dude.
Like I say, I've never seen the evidence or whatever, but apparently that's the case. But getting back to the craziest experience I had is diving. So I was.
So you take the dinghy to, you said a barge.
Yeah.
Right? Is that?
A barge is just basically like, it's like kind of like
a floating dock or something,
it's
right?
like a self-propelled floating, like, it's like a barge. It's got a wheelhouse and stuff. And basically it's used for like craning, like it had its own crane and everything. It's used for like craning its on its own material and just like assisting with projects. It's like it's not like a diving vessel, but it's just like a working boat, if you like.
So that's what I'm trying to get to is you take the dinghy to the barge, and is that where all your equipment's at? Is that where you have safety meetings? Because that's what I'm thinking. You have like a headquarters there, and you show up. Do you have a kitchen there?
Yeah.
So food, I'm assuming everything.
The kitchens for the guys who lived there, like, we didn't live on the barge.
Oh, so some people live on the barge.
Yeah. So the crew
just 24/7.
Yeah.
They're on there.
They did like 2-3 month rotations too.
I'm assuming they make a lot of money.
Not from what I've heard.
Damn.
Nice. Like, it's because your accommodation's paid for and stuff, but if you're offshore, it's like a lot more money. Like, for instance, like diving onshore, you might get like 100 or 200 or 300 pound a day.
Yeah.
As soon as you take that offshore and you've got to get a helicopter to the rig, you can get like 5, 6, 7, 1,000 pound a day.
So that's like the station. That's the mission control.
Yeah. So basically, had the dive, like, had 2 containers or 3 containers, and had the dive shack where we got dressed to dive.
Yeah.
But before that, we're just getting dressed on the deck, and then had like the compression room. So the compressor, it wasn't like recreational diving. It's like it's not scuba diving where you've just got a tank on your back. It's literally surface applied. So you've like got we call it an umbilical.
Okay.
It's like a twisted hose. It's got like your airline.
Gotcha.
Which feeds your air, surface applied air. It's got a pneumo, which is basically like a yellow tube. And then as soon as they like blow the pneumo, it can read your depth. So you read it, hold it at your chest, and it reads your depth. So the supervisor knows what depth you're at.
Gotcha.
So like
you have an unlimited supply of air, basically.
yes, but not an unlimited unlimited supply of time. So the deeper you go, the less time you can do there. Otherwise,
Correct.
you get what's called a bend. So you've got to go off like diving tables. We use the U.S. Navy diving tables. It was an American company, and it was pretty safe. And then, so basically, you've got like it's a red, blue, and yellow hose. You've got your comms, which you can talk into the hat, and then the supervisor can.
So one's for communication.
Yeah.
You could talk. That's the red one.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the other one you said?
Is the yellow one the pneumo, and then the
Pneumo.
pneumo. So it's
What
like,
is that?
It's like the yellow hose I was telling you about. And let's just say your hat starts leaking, you can feed that pneumo up inside your neck dam, and it can feed your air. So
It's like a reserve?
exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So you have two now.
Yeah.
And then there's a third one?
The third one's your air supply.
And that's your main.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking of those old school like helmets that you put on. Do you
Yeah.
have a dry suit or?
Yeah.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
cool, man. And then do you need weight belts?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Especially if you're diving in a wetsuit, not necessarily, but if you're diving in a dry suit, which obviously you stay dry, it's got like neoprene like cuffs on the wrists, your ankles, and your neck, so you stay dry, and then it's got a big zip at the back.
So let me stop you there. I'm gonna try to get the viewers involved here. So typically with scuba diving, depending on the depth, you could usually, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, you could have some tanks, and that's gonna last you anywhere from a few hours. When I say a few hours, typically your dive time is different between how many hours you could breathe on the tanks.
Yeah.
So typically, sometimes if you need, I'm just going to throw a number out there, 2 hours worth of air is only going to give you like 20 minutes of dive time, meaning by the time you get to the bottom, you only have 20 minutes to explore it, and by the time you have to come back up, that's it. I don't know the schematics, but
Yeah.
that's kind of the right idea. So typically you could so with wetsuits, you have wetsuits where you just put on. How those work is the layer of water in between your skin and the wetsuit heats your body up. So for instance, in California, I could wear 4,332 different millimeters of rubber,
Yeah.
and I don't need. If I'm going to go diving, I could just maybe get away with scuba gear if I'm going 20 feet down, maybe 50, etc. Now, when you go commercial diving in colder water, just to keep in mind, the farther you go down, the less light could go through. So that means it's going to get cold.
Yeah.
What's the coldest it gets that you've been around?
I like to say the
0
deeper
degrees.
Well, I go off Celsius. You do Fahrenheit.
Oh, that's right.
I can't really tell you what. I wouldn't even know. But I'm
Pretty damn cold.
Yeah, it got cold. But I'll come to this point in a minute. We used what's called a hot water suit, and I'll tell you about that in a minute. It's like a one-man jacuzzi. But the coldest, like I say, the deeper you go, basically, if you stay above 20 feet,
Yeah.
we used to call it the AFD table, the all fucking day table. You can literally dive at that depth forever.
Yeah.
And lucky enough, like where we were diving, we were working on top of the anchor blocks, and it was like 15 to 18 feet.
Yeah.
So it was cool because like if one guy like felt a bit ill, you could literally stay in the water for like 4 or 5 hours. I think one of my longest dives was like 5.5 hours.
Yeah.
And it was nice because I had the hot water suit on, like
Yeah.
5.5 hours in that type of water for that depth, like it'll start to get cold.
Yeah.
So that's where the hot water suits come in. They're a bit more expensive to run. Obviously, you've got to have like a different pump for that. But the hot water suit's basically like your dry suit, but it's got like open neck, open.
And that's where, okay, so dry suit. So one, I was explaining, a wetsuit works off your own, water is going to always leak in,
Yeah.
your own body temperature is going to control it. Now, with commercial diving, that's when you need heavy duty stuff, which a dry suit, you're completely sealed in, no water comes in.
Yeah.
And you have some kind of apparatus that it keeps you warm. Is
In a dry suit?
Yes.
No.
Isn't there air, like almost a compressor or something?
No.
So how does that work?
It's the dry suit just literally keeps you dry for however amount of time like you're diving. It doesn't get in. So basically, you've got to like it just.
So how do you stay warm?
You
Or
only
you don't?
Yeah, you don't really.
So your own body is
Yeah, I mean, I suppose the only way you keep warm is just moving. Like, that's why when you're in a dive where you're just, like, inspecting something, like, let's just say, I don't know, let's just say you're watching something, like, some like the crane's pulling something, you're just there to inspect, that's when it'll get cold. But if you're actually, like, moving stuff around or, like, hanging off something or moving around and...
Okay, so to compare this, same thing like up on a tower. I don't know if you've been up on a very cold tower.
Yeah.
If you don't have the proper gear, which I've learned this the hard way, and I'm sure most of you guys have too, if you just wear jeans and a shirt or even just a jacket, and it's a little bit windy, that draft will come up your back, and it gets cold. I've worked in snow where even the boots, I didn't have proper boots on.
Yeah.
And the cold went through my laces. So now my boots, they're all water sealed.
Yeah.
I don't know if you knew that. And then also cowboy boots are pretty good in decent cold weather because there's no laces.
Yeah.
So I've learned wherever you have pockets where air or draft could come through, you could get cold. And of course, if you're staying still, hell yeah, you're going to get cold. Sometimes I could work in snow and I'm sweating because I'm moving around. Yeah. So it's your body and the friction that's keeping you warm. So I didn't know that. I thought dry suits, one, it's better than a wetsuit because no water comes in.
Yeah.
So your body is not becoming cold because of the water because you're dry. You're completely dry, hence the name.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
So, like, it's so like if you're going under there and you're like rigging something and you're like lifting heavy things and you're on the move constantly, you'll stay warm in the dry suit, but like
as soon as you stop, you die, man.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna get cold.
They say that. I was watching like some survival channel show.
Yeah,
and I think the guy went hunting, got lost in the cold.
Yeah,
and the number one rule is as soon as you stop, you die. So I think the dude, the way to survive, he just was hiking for 24, 48 hours. And then at one point he stopped for a little bit and he was starting to get hypothermia.
Yeah.
So, okay. So you get on the barge, you get all your equipment on, with commercial diving. You had the one thing you want to explain was the hot tub.
Oh, the hot suit. No, it's basically like
Is it only for one person?
Yes.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So it's like a self-supplied, like, basically it's like the dry suit, but it's got tubes. So basically when you plug it in, it's got like an extra red tube, which is your hot water.
That's what I thought a dry suit was.
Oh, no.
So what is this suit called?
This is a hot water suit.
Okay, water suit.
Yeah.
That's the cream of the crop right there, man.
So basically it's got like a little valve on it. It's got like a little hand, like a tap.
Like
like a tap lever. You just turn it like half a turn to open it up and half a turn to close it. So if you start getting too hot, you can open it up and the hot water will go through the red tube, but then out of the valve.
Yeah.
It's like a two-way valve. So basically that's what keeps you warm. If you get too hot, you can just flush it out. With a dry suit, it's the same hose, the air hose, the pneumo, and the comms. But the hot water suit's got that extra red tube, which feeds you the hot water.
Gotcha.
So basically it comes into the suit and then it's got like tubes that go down your arms, down your chest, down your legs.
And this is what you're using to dive?
Yeah.
Okay, so you got this thing on. It's time to go down.
Yeah.
Okay, one thing I forgot to mention. So with free diving, I'll start with there. Free diving, you could go as far as down as you want, as quick as you want, and come back up as quick as you want.
Yeah.
That's what I know. Because
you're using the same breath from that, what do you call it? I've drawn a blank.
Correct me if I'm wrong with this. I just heard about this.
Yeah.
You could drown. So let's say if I'm free diving, right?
Yeah.
I heard that you actually drown from not being able to let out oxygen. So it's a buildup of carbon
dioxide.
Is that true?
I just thought it was the amount of water that got in the lungs. That's how you drown.
No. I mean before that. I mean as far as like, let's say I go all the way down.
Yeah.
And I start to come back up because there's been plenty of times when I go surfing and I'm like, shit, I don't think I have enough air.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I feel like I'm going to black out.
Yeah.
I always thought it was because of lack of oxygen, like the oxygen's running out. But what I've heard is actually a buildup of carbon inside your body that your body's trying to expel, to get rid of.
Yeah.
And then that's why you pass out. Is that true or?
Obviously your body needs oxygen. So if you're doing the free diving, they're holding the breath for like 2, 3, 4 minutes maybe.
Correct.
So yeah, it might be, obviously they don't want to let air out when they're in the water because they're going to like obviously drown. So I think they might lose consciousness because I haven't got the oxygen going to the brain.
Okay.
So when you're free diving, the carbon dioxide, because you breathe in the oxygen, then you breathe out carbon dioxide. So if you dive that deep and you start to feel like dizzy, that's probably because the lack of oxygen in your system.
Cool. Okay. So I'll digress on that one. I'll have to look it up. So now with scuba, you have to go down certain layers, or can you go as fast as down as you want?
You can go as fast as you want.
But it's coming back up.
You've got it's 30 feet per minute. So every 2 seconds you want to come up 1 foot. So
Correct.
That kind of speed.
So explain to everyone what happens if, let's say, it took me 5 minutes to get down.
Yeah.
And then I decided, you know what, I'm going to swim as fast as I can up.
Yeah.
Explain what happens.
So basically,
in scuba gear.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It'll be the same in commercial diving gear too.
Okay.
So unless it's mixed gas, that's a whole nother ball game. So basically, if you're breathing air, like the tanks are filled with air. Correct. In the scuba, sometimes you can use mixed gas, which basically gives you longer at a deeper depth. But air is, I believe it's 79% nitrogen, 20.9% oxygen, and another part of mixed gases. So when you're breathing in the nitrogen, and you can go down as fast as you want, because the differential pressure going down, there's not as much, like if you put a balloon, or if you took a balloon down deep in deep waters, it would kind of like just compress.
Okay, that makes sense. If
you somehow blew a balloon up, it's 100 feet of water, and you came up, as air comes up from it in deep water, like because of the pressure of the water, the balloon will expand the higher you go. So you, like when you dive and you blow a bubble like this.
Correct.
And as soon as it gets to the top, it could be as big as this room.
No way.
Yeah.
I never really thought about that, but that's true.
So
yeah,
so that's a good analogy for this. So that's why you come up with that
so
speed.
Same concept. You come up and basically your whole internal function is just going out of whack.
So when you're diving, I mean, it's been a while since I've been diving, but from what I remember, it's like the nitrogen. Basically, when you breathe in nitrogen or the air, the nitrogen, it can create a bubble in your bloodstream, and if you come up too quick, that bubble can expand in your bloodstream. It can like cut off circulation, or that bubble. Basically, the biggest danger is that nitrogen bubble travels to your brain, and that's when bad things can happen. Yeah, basically,
is it instantly where your brain just boop? It can.
If you came up quick
pretty
enough,
damn quick. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but even if like that going at 30 feet per minute, let's just say you came up 60 feet per minute, like twice as fast as you should. It can basically it gives you the bends where you might lose consciousness. It might damage certain organs or certain things in your body. I've seen it happen to one guy. Mikey was called. He came out of the water, and Mickey, sorry, he was called, and he came out of the water and he just lost feeling in his legs. And I didn't realize he'd just been in a dive. And he was talking about like a new job he got and stuff, and he was like, I just feel weird. And he kind of lost feeling in his legs. And then I was like, you okay? He was like, yeah, I just got to a dive. So I had to call Paul, like the dive medic. We had to rush him in the chamber. He had to do a table 6, which is a US Navy, like a treatment for the bends. So you literally go in the chamber for like 6 hours to decompress, like get all the bad stuff out your body.
And it's called, is it called an iron lung?
Oh, I don't know. I've never heard
that machine, the bends machine thing.
Oh no, it's just a chamber. It's just basically like a capsule.
I thought they nicknamed it iron lung. I could be wrong.
Yeah, they might in America.
So, just to recap, so now hopefully everyone knows the difference. You could free dive as much as you want. Once you get into scuba diving, now you have so many different factors of, and I know now they have watches and
a gauge and stuff.
But obviously, you're gonna want to know this stuff the rudimentric way.
Yeah.
Right. I'm sure there's another way in case if you can't just solely rely on technology, because if that gives out.
Yeah.
You know. So my bad. Let's get back to the story of what exactly happened. So you went down. Now we have an idea of all the dynamics that you have in this one dive.
Yeah.
So you got to make sure your hoses work. You got to make sure you have the right amount of oxygen. You have to make sure that you're factoring in how far you go down and then how fast you're coming up.
Yeah.
So you go to the barge, you get your gear on. I'm sure you do a safety check.
Yeah.
Everything looks good. You have a dive team. They're factoring in, okay, we're going to give you this amount of things, and the other crazy thing too is you have to make sure when you go down, the clarity and what's around, because I'd be fearful that you go down deep enough and all of a sudden a current takes your hoses to a rock or some kind of debris. So now you have to make sure you have a radius that is clear of obstructions, right?
Yeah, it's pretty impossible when you dive in most circumstances. So basically, like we started day, we will actually have like a genuine toolbox talk, like the goal of the day, what we want to achieve, what we want to get done. So basically, we'll do that. We'll have like a dive chart of like the routine or the order of divers that are going to go in the water. So let's just say it was you and me starting off. Like I would be the diver, you would be like the standby diver. So you always have like a standby diver in case something goes wrong with diver one.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can have 2 divers in the water, then you have like a third guy who's a standby diver.
Gotcha.
Usually you're diving alone though. So let's just say like I went in the dive. Before I do that, I've literally got to get on my suit, get all my equipment, get the neck dam, get the hat, gloves, all the tools I need. So basically when I go in there, I'm as efficient as possible. You as a standby diver, you want to make sure you've got everything. We've always got like a knife. It's like a Green River knife to cut umbilical or whatever we need to do. So
Crocodile Dundee knife.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's a knife.
So basically you want to have everything you can, everything you need to do the job. You want to have everything you need to rescue me.
And are you going down by yourself, or do you usually go with 2 people?
Yeah, it
varies.
It varies, yeah. I mean, if there's like 3,
but on this big project, I would think why not have two guys at least minimum.
Yeah. So that one had like 3 dive setups, and the possibility for a 4th. But obviously, you're going to use more air and stuff.
What goes through your mind? I mean, is every day are you conscious? Like, okay, in your brain, you're like, okay, what's gonna come today, or you're already just so comfortable with it?
Yeah, I think it's like climbing. It's like you get comfortable with it, you know what I mean? It's like second nature, but depending on what you need to do that day, like every dive's different. Like,
do you have a routine, like in your head? Do you say a little prayer before you go down? No. You like call a girl and be like, yo, hey, you know? You're just like, all right, let's get this.
I think it's like tower guys, like a lot of people are like cowboy mindset, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they don't care. Like it's like, we're going to do a job, that's the end of it. You don't overthink things. That's when things start to get complicated. So now you just get your suit on, do your checks, get your team talk, what you need to do. We've got like a whiteboard of what we're going to do that day, or like what we're trying to achieve and stuff. And then you literally just get your suit on, you jump in the water, you do your leak checks. So you just basically check if the hat's leaking.
How's your mentality? Are you fatigued? Are you tired? Are you well rested?
It depends.
Because you're on the night shift.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a different too.
This is actually, I'm thinking about it now. That's, man.
And fighting the current and managing your hose and.
Because on night shifts, especially if you're switching to it in climbing, you know, I have a little routine. I want to get as much sleep as I can. I eat some food before I go. I try to stay away from caffeine, but I go to the store, I get some Monsters just in case.
Yeah.
But in this scenario, you know, that's a big deal, man. You suit up, you boot up. When you go down, that's it. You have to be prepared.
Yeah.
You already have to make sure you took a shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Peeing, I'm sure you don't pee in the suit. I'm sure you can.
Oh, you can, yeah.
But
hot water suit,
definitely not shitting. So if you got to make sure that's taken care of. Your well-being of your brain is charged. So if you're gonna have a Monster or caffeine, for me it's like I try to stay away from it because of my health. I was born with 1 kidney, so I try to stay with caffeine. But you know, with that, it's like, okay, should I take a Monster today, or should I not? Because that is gonna determine pretty much your life, man.
Yeah.
You need to have your brain functioning, because if you mess up one thing or one hose snatches on something, and the thing too is, even if you're very careful and your hose starts leaking, you know, let's say both of them, you're fucked, huh? Because really. you can't go up real quick, but if you're deep enough.
The thing I'm missing out on is like
I'm gonna get another beer real quick. You want another one?
I'm good. I'm
gonna get one, but keep talking.
Yeah. So, yeah, what I'm trying to say like is when
I'm still hearing all right.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you first go in, like I say, you do all your checks and stuff, and then once you've done your checks, you get the go ahead. You obviously have to say like diver leaving surface, and then you travel down basically you set up a travel line, and basically you climb down the line, go to the work site, or set up the travel line, and then once you've done that, you obviously get to work, get all your tools prepped, get yourself comfortable, and then start to work. But the thing I'm forgetting is when you actually dive surface applied, you've got a bottle on your bailout, so you've got a harness on, like our climbing harness.
Really?
You've got a harness on too.
Is it still the same material, or is it nylon? I don't even know what our harness is made out of. I'm assuming nylon and rayon. And
so it's a strong harness. I think it's called the R harness. Anyways, it's a harness. It's got like pockets for weights if you need the weights on.
Oh, that's one thing I was going to mention.
Yeah.
Could you explain why you need weights?
So buoyancy, pretty much. Like if you go in the water in your dry suit, obviously you've got air in between the suit and you. Sometimes it's hard to travel down, and you can like purge out the air in your suit, or you can inflate the suit like through the hose. You've got a separate hose that can actually purge up your suit, so you look like the Michelin Man kind of thing. So if you want to go up higher,
okay, that makes sense. Yeah,
you can purge air in or feed air in, then you can go higher. To get down, you want to get the air out, or you can use weights. And then when you want to come up, obviously if you feel like under the weight, like the weight's heavy for you, just purge up your suit, and then it's easier to travel up.
Yeah.
You need that for a dry suit, not for a hot water suit. Yeah, I mean your weight and the helmet, like the hat weighs like 50 pounds, 40, 50 pounds. A bailout weighs 40, 50 pounds. So basically, like even the surface applied, you always got your harness on with a bailout on the back, and that's when you do your bailout checks, because your bailout's literally what it sounds like. If you lose your main air connection, you go to bailout, and your bailout's like a scuba tank, so it can last, depending on the depth, it can last a good few minutes, if not like an hour.
A few minutes. So you got a few minutes to...
like when I say a few, it can be like 10, 15, 20. Depends how hard you're breathing.
Just enough to get you out of harm's way.
Exactly. So it depends how hard you're breathing. If you breathe like a pro scuba diver, it might last for like an hour or two, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're breathing like a guy who's about to lose his shit, then it's going to go pretty quick. So...
I think we covered. All right, let's. I want to hear the story now. You got me intrigued.
Yeah. Also, so getting back to that, basically the pissed off crane driver. So goes in the water. I'm like one of the later dives. I think I dived earlier in the morning. You can do that. You're gonna, if you have certain breaks in between the day, if you haven't dove too deep and for too long. So I dove in the morning, then I dove in the night time, and we're trying to like get this anchor block like sandbagged.
Yeah.
So when you pour the concrete in, it doesn't leak out the bottom, because the surface of the seabed's all over the place. So you had to put sandbags like around the perimeter of it just to stop it like leaking. So I went to do like the second dive, and once I'd finished that, we were using the crane. Before we poured the concrete, we were using the crane to run lines. Like this project, we were doing different jobs all the time. So basically what I had to do was lower the crane into the water, de-rig it, and then move the crane up, like across a mooring line to get in a position, because we couldn't cross the mooring line. So basically I de-rigged it on the seabed, and then I told the crane to come down, like boom down. So I went from like this kind of, I was here, de-rigged it here, and I need to put the crane here.
Yeah.
So the crane boomed down. I asked the supervisor to let us know when the crane's in the water. You can see it from the dive shack. And the crane's got two heads, like the baby block and the main block.
Okay.
I seen the baby block coming in the water. And this is a night shift too, but we painted like yellow and black striped.
Okay.
So I seen the baby block like above us, and then like the crane driver, he was obviously mad about going overtime. I seen the baby block, and I was like, let me know when the big block's in the water, because I couldn't see it. And then I look directly above us, and this big block's coming down at like such a speed that I had to like grab me hose, and I just literally had to take the biggest step back of my life. And this.
Are you in the water?
I'm in the water. This big block is like, I would say like 4-5 feet by 5 feet, and
Holy
the thing weighs like 3.5, like 4 ton. And it hits
this block.
Yeah, so it's like a crane block, and then it's got the hook underneath. So it's a block. It's like got this the spool where the crane wire is.
And how much did you say it weighs?
Like probably 3, 4, 5 ton.
So more than a car, a small little car.
Oh yeah.
And it's coming at you.
It comes down. I jump back, and it literally hits the seabed, because must have had the lever full force, and then it hit the seabed, and the crane wires coiling up on top of it. And I'm like, oh, stop,
dude.
So I'm mad at this point. I'm like, who's on the crane? Because I thought it was one of the crane drivers actually liked. It wasn't. It was the other one.
Well, with that cable, now you have cable just feeding down to...
so I'm like, oh, stop.
Oh,
so,
shit.
And the dive. So basically the diver's got the diver radio and the crane driver radio.
Correct.
So sometimes he would like leave this one be and then hold his finger on the crane driver. So as soon as I speak, the crane driver can hear what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, stop. And like, he stopped. I'm like, what's he doing? Because like, as a crane driver, you can't see.
Dude, he better had a heart attack or something. That's the only excuse.
No, it was because he was mad at, because our salvage master told him that we were working like overtime and he wasn't getting paid for it.
You gotta be fucking me, dude.
So I was mad, like, and I had a good word with him and I got out the water, but I had to go in the decompression chamber.
Is this guy hired by the mafia?
Nah,
the crane guy?
Nah, this is like a different company.
I would have beat the shit out of that motherfucker, dude.
Aye.
The only excuse I could find is that dude had a heart attack in the middle and passed out or something. Other than that, dude, I would have chopped his hand off.
Just fed it in.
So you're in the water. Are you kind of floating or are you actually on the seabed?
That was actually on the seabed, yeah. Like,
which is a little bit better, I would think.
Oh, yeah.
And then you got this basically a truck size crane, headache ball coming at you. I don't know exactly what it is.
Yeah,
but
it's just basically the block, and then basically you've got like, it's like it coils up, so basically runs through the block and then goes back up. That
like a 4-to-1 or
yeah.
I know what you're talking about. It's got a hook on it or something, or okay. So just a standard thing, but this is heavy duty. So it's coming at you, and one, it misses you.
Yeah,
that's the one factor.
Yeah,
I mean, if it barely just nicks you and you pass out and you start bleeding or whatever, you're done.
Yeah.
2, it misses your equipment, so all those hoses. It doesn't necessarily even need to hit you. It just needs to hit your hoses.
Yeah.
And then, especially at night, it could mess you all the way around. You don't know where's up from down.
Yeah.
And then the third factor is all that cable. That cabling has to be hundreds of pounds, per square foot or whatever. And as soon as it starts coiling it up, now you have to make sure that you're out of the way of it.
Yeah.
The cable doesn't get caught on you or your equipment.
Yeah.
And you walked away from this.
Yeah.
Just eliminating all those factors.
Yeah. It was scary, obviously, at the time.
Fuck.
I was just mad, you know what I mean? But I couldn't go and have a word with him as I got out of the water. I literally had to go to the decompression chamber, like after the dive.
And what did your bosses say? Who did anybody else say anything?
Nah, not really. Nah.
Are you fucking kidding me, man?
Put it this way, I had a friend. He's still a friend. He lives in Belize now. He's from Santa Monica.
Yeah. And
the same crane driver, it was actually basically our boss stuck up for the other crews or whatever. So basically he got sent home because he had a disagreement in the water with one of the crane drivers or the supervisor. So it was but
and for you guys that don't know, Kyle's a pretty nice fucking guy. I've never how long we worked together? Almost 2-3 years.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen you pissed.
I try and keep me cool.
There's times I've been pissed. I'm sure you've seen me pissed.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I would think that's the most angriest you would ever be.
But I wasn't going to go and like start throwing haymakers at him, but I
Why
was
not?
mad. I didn't want to get sent home. Like,
I mean, you understand, and for you guys out there, that you know what, OSHA this, OSHA that, this and that. As much as we talk shit on OSHA, that shit doesn't fly out here, man. So if someone did that intentionally or because they're mad,
yeah.
Fuck no, dude. They'd get blackballed. They would lose their job. They could go to jail. That's to me that you have to go to jail for that shit right there. Yeah. If you're not getting an ass kicking, I'd probably give you one fucking warning. Be like, if you ever do that shit again, well, after I beat him up, after I'd fucking break his kneecaps or some shit, if you ever do that again, you're done. You know what I mean? And especially if we're out here in the mafia world, I'll work my ass off to get some money to put a hit list on this motherfucker, dude. So that's...
it was sketchy.
Dude, that is...
but trust me, that's nothing compared to the other things. Like,
that's nothing?
Nah, we lost a guy. He was a Spanish diver. Cool guy, like had a family and everything. We literally just met his family like families used to come visit and stuff. Like, it was a nice island.
And this is where you're in Italy.
Yeah, so he was a Spanish diver. Israel was his name. Like, everyone loved him, you know what I mean? And he actually lost his life on that job, like, just by, like, obviously underwater cutting, broke cutting. Cut something, I don't know how it went down, but basically he was cutting the davit because we had to make, like, the side of the ship flush to put on not the blocks, the, what's it called? It's like what we use, the tanks. It's like a big square tank.
Yeah.
And we fill them with air to refloat the ship.
Yeah.
Sponsons.
Oh, yeah, I understand.
They're called sponsons, so I couldn't think of the word. So he was cutting the davit off, and the davit's like a L shape.
Okay.
And he cut the davit, and this is one of the most dangerous things about cutting. You need to make sure that when you cut a line through a structure or whatever you're cutting, you need to make sure it's clean. So what you do is that knife I was telling you about before.
Yeah.
You can use that, or you can actually use different tools like a screwdriver or something if you want. Something that goes all the way through, though. A knife's like a good, like, obviously not the pointed side of the knife.
Yeah.
Just feed the knife through to make sure there's no bridges, because when you make your final cut, you need to make sure it's your final cut, because you don't want to go searching for hangers, because that might put you in harm's way. So let's just say this is a pinch point here. Okay. In your final cuts, you want to make your final cut at the smartest place so you can move out of the way if something
makes
breaks.
Sense. Correct.
So I think what happened with him, he had a hanger and he had to go back and find it to cut off this davit. Bear in mind, this davit's like suspended with a crane, slings, like endless slings.
Yeah.
And so he cut something and it didn't break off, so he had to go back and find the hanger. I believe it was like one of the hydraulic pipes inside. And yeah, he found the thing and it swung and like crushed him against the ship.
And this is underwater.
Yeah.
Fuck.
I mean, it was heartbreaking, because like the supervisor was speaking to him in English, and like he was telling the supervisor he was fine, but then he was speaking to the Spanish.
So he was still conscious.
Oh yeah.
He got smacked pretty good.
Yeah, he was pinched in the water for like 20-30 minutes, I think.
Holy shit, man.
It was sad to hear, man. Like, I was back home the time I'd left like a week or two before.
So he's pinned in between something.
He's pinched in between an 8
and the whole time he's like, hey, I'm good, we're gonna get out of this.
Yeah. So
in a way, he's calming the crew down.
Yeah.
More than himself.
I don't believe it was for the full time, you know what I mean? But the supervisor's obviously panicking, trying to get the standby diver in to like re-rig the davit so it pulls it off him.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean? So, but it was rigged to just pull out the water straight away. And yeah, but it pinched him. I think the davit weighed like 1.5 tons.
Fuck,
so,
man.
and it, like, obviously it's too much. Obviously it might have broke some bones. Like, it was too much to push off him.
Yeah.
So he was kind of pinched in there, and he was telling one of the British, the English speaking supervisors, like, he's okay, just like get someone in to help. But he knew he wasn't going to make it.
At some point, he's like,
yeah, it was kind of gruesome. I'll tell you after the podcast. It's too gnarly to mention on yet. But so yeah, he was pinched. He was telling the English guy, like, look, I'm okay, just get the standby diver in.
Fuck, man.
But in Spanish, he was speaking in Spanish, and we had like speakers on the deck. So if the diver was like, okay, I need a hammer, I need like this, I need that, we can go and get it, and we just send it down the tool line. So we can use the travel line, like, it's just a rope, a travel line. We can use that travel line as like a tool line. So we just put like a carabiner on or a shackle and just send the tools down.
Yeah.
So anyways, he was speaking in Spanish, telling these, because they're literally like his brothers, that all work for the same company.
Yeah.
And he was literally telling the guys on the deck in Spanish to like say goodbye to his wife and kids for him and stuff. So,
fuck, man.
So I wasn't there, but like from what I heard, it just.
I mean, you're not far away. You're in the vicinity of that. It's not like you're across country or something. You're right there.
He was only like 30, 40 feet in the water too.
Man.
So it wasn't nice.
And so I got an epiphany last night. I was watching. I'm halfway through. It's a movie called There Will Be Blood.
Oh yeah.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
So I saw it when I was younger, when it first came out, and it was kind of boring when I was younger. But now I'm watching it, and I really don't want to get into the battle of the sexes. And women have it hard with periods and a lot of stuff. But in reality, I started thinking about it. You know, especially with this person that passed away. This is a male predominant, in my eyes, construction, right?
Yeah.
We do all this shit in the end for people to go on a cruise, to have some beers, to go, you know, where different islands, different stuff.
Yeah.
So men, and like I said, 100%, I respect women 100%. They have hard times. Without them, we wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
You know, but in the end, we risk our lives so other people have fun.
Yeah.
We don't really need cruise ships.
Yeah.
Right. We don't need this shit. And what I was watching a movie, you know, people have died to create these oil diggers or derricks. I'm sorry, derricks. And I was watching the simple shit like that people don't see in construction. People die all the freaking time over simple things. A shackle snaps, wire cuts a person's face apart.
Yep.
A grinding blade shatters into pieces, impales in someone's face. You know, there's so many factors, and then you boil down to it for stupid shit.
Yeah.
You know, for instance, we risk our lives. You know, I think there's different dangers in jobs. So diving, to me, just being underwater, there's more elements.
Oh yeah.
You know, if your positioning lanyard, let's say you slice it a little bit, but it's still holding you.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, I got to just come down and replace it.
Yep.
If you have a little pin-sized hole in one of those lines, now you got to get to your reserve.
Yep.
And let's say, God forbid, something happens to your reserve, now you're fucked. And then now you have to time it to get back up where you're not going to get bends.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
it's definitely scarier because you're in you're not in your world. You're like in like the marine life's world, you know what I mean? So it's not just like getting your hose snagged or literally blowing yourself up because broke or cutting if you hit like a pocket of nitrogen, air, gas or whatever, then you can blow yourself up. You can get attacked by a shark or whatever. It's a
is that
game.
Common?
Not in this.
I'm assuming it's rare to get attacked by a shark, but I'm sure it happens.
Oh yeah, not just sharks. So it's like things you've never even seen.
Yeah, no, I mean the ocean is unforgiving. Yeah. I mean, for the most part, everything keeps to itself. Yeah. You know what scares me the most? Killer whales, man.
Yeah.
Those things are, and the craziest thing is I don't think they've ever killed anybody, but yet they're so intelligent that if people don't know this, whales, I believe any mammal in the ocean has to breach up for air.
Yeah.
So whales, they could gather air in I don't know how many hours, and they could stay underwater for 10, 15 hours. Maybe I'm pretty sure it's less than that. So killer whales are so intelligent that they know whales have to breach up, and a killer whale will lay its body over the breaching hole of the whale and drown it or suffocate it or whatever, and then eat it.
Yeah.
So these are the creatures that you have out in the ocean. I mean, granted, we have to deal with crazy ass anti-5G people.
Yeah.
You know, but man, that's
a crazy world, man.
And then see, that's a reality call, because that happens. And then life has to go on. I mean, the project doesn't stop. One person dies. They don't go, okay, we got to shut down everything and this is it. You know, no, you got to continue the work.
Yeah, well, with that, like, I don't know if it's the same over here, but if someone dies in a project, like, by law, I think you've got to shut it down.
Yeah, there's an investigation,
period,
but I mean, it's, you know, with this kind of project, you have people from all over the world. You have engineers that plan this probably for a year or two. You have everything there.
Yeah.
Of course, they're going to have to do a stand down, do investigation. But at some point, it's not like, you know what, we're going to have to take off 2 years and come back. No, you got to.
Yeah.
No, you know what I'm saying?
Although I think they're all back to work within the week. You know what I mean? Like,
and for you to go back to work, how hard is that not to be on your mind?
Yeah.
Especially after, is this after or before that crane guy dropped all this stuff?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Okay, because I mean, either way, if it was afterwards, I'd be more pissed.
It was a crazy couple of years, but
okay, let's get into another story that I've heard. We'll briefly go over it, and then we'll get into tower climbing. But that was what you did before tower climbing, basically, and then you got into windmilling.
Yeah,
and that's, I'd say, a little less dangerous.
Oh, yeah.
Then, because I talked to my buddy Neil. Hopefully you can watch the podcast. It's I just had a podcast with him, and he's telling me everything's soundproof. It's pretty damn safe. They got everything down to the T.
Yeah.
And And then now you go to tower climbing, which is still dangerous. There's still a lot of factors in it. You basically, to me, you have to trust your equipment. If you don't trust your equipment and you're not tying off and you're not doing stuff, that's where people die.
Yeah.
Other than that, I've been doing this for 8 years. I've never had any deaths in my crew or anything close to that. The cool story I love is, well, one, you how many different countries have you gone to? Lived in?
Lived in?
Yeah.
3 or 4, I don't know.
Yeah, which is awesome, man. My favorite is was it Bangkok?
Yeah,
dude. Tell them about the Milky Way, man, or the Mars bar.
The Mars bar.
The shake.
Oh,
oh man.
So
you're out there for work, right?
in Thailand?
Yeah.
Oh no, I was just.
What I heard, a little birdie told me you got some money, a big chunk of money from work.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh well, I got a good few chunks. So basically, if you got a Siemens book and a Siemens card,
Siemens?
and if you got a Siemens book, basically it's got like different pages in, and basically if you can record that you were out of the country for 183 days or more, then you can claim pretty much 100% of your tax back in the UK. And at the time, I was paying like 4,000 to 5,000 in tax every month.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of tax. So I got that tax money back when I was in South Africa, and then I ended.
So
up,
you lived in South Africa or just visiting?
I was just visiting. Yeah, I was there for like 3 or 4 weeks, visiting a friend from Australia, and then because he was like traveling there, he resided there. So I got that money back, and then when I went back home, I won like off like a £5 bet. I won like 2 and a bit grand, and then
you won a bet,
a football bet, yeah.
And then so you used your money that you worked with,
yeah,
your seaman money,
yeah, the tax money, yeah,
and put a bet.
Oh no, that was just different money. I was literally like a $5 bet, and I won like $2,000, and then I just accumulated that, and I won a lot of other money.
And you just kept betting, and you made
like,
close to what?
13,000. Yeah,
American,
British.
So more.
Yeah.
So more. I'd say a third of that more.
Yeah. So like 16,000 or so, whatever. So yeah, I won that, and then I just went out to Thailand. Well, actually, go back on that. I actually went to Singapore first with a friend from England to look for diving work.
And forgive me, I'm a stupid American. Singapore is where?
Like Asia.
Like near India, or is it? Or
no, it's like below Thailand, Malaysia.
And it's like island?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically it's like at the bottom of Malaysia, I believe.
Okay.
And it's kind of like, it's basically like Southeast Asia.
The closest place I know is China. So down from that south.
Oh yeah. So you got
way down south.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you got in between China and Singapore, you've got like Thailand, Malaysia, and a few other countries.
So you took that money and said, fuck it, I'm going to Thailand.
Well, no, it didn't happen like that. We actually went looking for work in Singapore.
Okay,
so,
as a diver.
Yeah. So there was loads of like companies based in Singapore. Like it's one of the busiest.
And did you land a couple of those jobs, or you just went out there?
No, we
said, no, I'm gonna go out there and see what happens.
We just found a cheap flight, like a one-way flight.
Yeah.
Went to Singapore, ended up staying there for 10 days. Went to see these different companies. We found out that it was really expensive for like hotels and accommodation and just travel. Like we were getting like taxis and stuff to like these different companies. A lot of the companies, like, they weren't actually there anymore and stuff, but the website said they were and stuff, so we were trying to ring.
You're finding out it's not worth it.
Yeah. So I spent like 10 days there, spent like a fortune on hotels and food and stuff. So we went and like just lay low in Thailand, which is like 4 times cheaper, 5-6 times cheaper than Singapore. Stayed out there for like, we're just planning to stay there for 2 weeks, see if we heard anything from the companies, because we left like with resumes, CVs with the companies, the offices and stuff, recruitment places. So went to Thailand, stayed there for like 2 weeks, and then my friend was like, oh, I think I'm going to leave and stuff. And I was like, I think I might stay with you for a while. So I ended up like signing like a lease with the apartment, like it was a month-on-month like lease with the apartment. I ended up staying there for like 8 or 9 months, I think it was.
Damn. All right, let's get to this Mars bar shake.
Well, yeah. I hope my mom's not watching this. Nah. So
your wee mom?
Me mom back in England. So now, I went to. My friend actually came over from England. So he was like working offshore. He had like 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off.
Yeah.
And yeah, he came to visit. So I traveled. I was living in Pattaya. I went from Pattaya to Bangkok, and then I flew from Bangkok to Phuket, and I met him in Phuket. So I met him in Phuket, and then we just stayed in Phuket for a few days, and we did all the island hops, and then like we tried to get to the full moon party.
And so, what is the full moon party, man?
Oh, it's crazy. I'm sure a lot of people have heard of it too.
No, nobody's heard of it.
So basically,
I've never heard of this until I met you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You need to watch some YouTube videos on it.
No, I need to go there.
We should go next year when this craziness is over.
Hell yeah.
So basically, the full moon parties, the main ones in Koh Phangan, but all of the other type like islands have their own version of the full moon party. The main ones in Koh Phangan, it's like a southeast island of Thailand, so like off the mainland. It's like near Koh Samui and stuff. So basically, it's like a long beach, like I don't know, like the size of Newport or whatever. It's a big beach. It's full of like bars and restaurants, and all the streets have got like carts and stuff. You buy alcohol, you get like a bucket of alcohol for like $5, and it gets you like shit faced. So me and Ridali went there, and we ended up like watching a football match and stuff. And there's like, you've got Koh Phangan,
okay,
and it's got a bar called the Mushroom Mountain. I've been there, and it's basically like, it sells like, it's a regular bar, but on the additional menu it has like mushroom shakes, like magic mushroom shakes. So,
and let me clarify this ain't mushrooms you put on your pizza over here
nah.
Yeah, this is,
they're a bit more special than that.
this is shrooms.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So I never took them before, so but that shit's crazy.
Psilocybin mushrooms.
Yeah, that's what it is. So anyways, we went to all the bars. I was actually watching my football team play like the derby, like Sunderland versus Newcastle.
And just to clarify too, football,
soccer.
Oh,
God. I've literally just watched a Joe Rogan's podcast.
In England, they don't watch football. I think it's funny how they keep trying to spread football, American football, over to England and shit. Yeah. I'm like, nah, they don't care about that stuff.
Rugby's the sport over there.
So you're watching football.
Yeah, so watching my team. My team's winning. It comes to like the last minutes of the game, and then the other team equalizes and stuff. And at this point, when I'm watching the game, my friend's talking like to these these two girls who actually live where we live back in England. So we got talking to them, went for like a few drinks and stuff, and then we ended up going to this other bar. I think it was like the Bar on the Edge, or Edge Bar, whatever it was called, or Bar 1, I think it was called. So we went there, and they did the mushroom shakes too. But this is in Koh Phi Phi, not Koh Phangan. But okay, sorry, I missed that part. So full moon party is just basically a massive beach party. It's got like fireworks and like fire shows and stuff, and then like skipping ropes with fire, and everyone just gets all drunk.
So you have family members there, or is it more for the younger crowd?
Oh, it's definitely younger crew, yeah.
So you got girls.
Yeah, everything. So
you got dudes.
Yeah.
You got these mushroom shakes.
Yeah, it's all kind of crazy. Yeah,
and
then it's like,
are you waiting
paints
for the moon to come out? Is that? I mean, that's what I'm thinking. Exactly what it is. It's a full moon, and it comes out. People are getting fucked up before the moon comes out.
I don't know if it's like a religious thing or whatever, but it's just basically like an excuse.
It's a tradition they have out there. Okay,
it's like an excuse for just people to like watch the full moon.
Gotcha. Okay,
and then basically you have like body paint on and stuff, so everyone's like luminous and stuff.
Is there music going on?
Oh, like crazy.
Oh man,
we'll watch a quick video after this.
Okay.
So everyone's like having a good time, having the face paints on, basically like really good art and stuff. You got all these Thai artists in the street, like they'll paint you up for like $5-10. So we did that, and then we went to Koh Phi Phi. And then
you went to go pee pee?
Go pee pee. I need it right now, actually. So anyway, so I went to this bar, and then we seen that they had the shakes, and I told my friend about them. I was like, oh, let's try one. He said, nah. So anyways, we ended up trying one, and long story short, I think I drank mine pretty quick, and I didn't feel no effect because it takes like 45 minutes. Because I don't know if I've never ate mushrooms like that, but the shakes, I think they take a little bit longer to hit you. So I had like one, and 45 minutes, an hour later, I didn't feel anything. So I was like, I want to get another one. So I went to the bathroom, and I came back with one. I was like, you want one? He's like, nah. So I got one. So I drank the second one by myself, right? And one should do the trick. I had two, right? So I'm just stubborn like that. If nothing takes effect or whatever, I'll just drink more or whatever. So got the second shake, and then we're going down to the party. It's called Slinkies or whatever in Core PP. It's got all these different bars, Slinkies, Ibiza, like beach party or whatever. So we're heading down to there, and there was like this wooden ramp leading up to the bar, right? And one of the girls, he had like Tic Tacs, and I was like, Daddy, do you feel anything? He was like, no, not yet. I was like, I should know. I've had 2 of the things. He was like, you'll feel it soon, kid. I was like, whatever. So one of them had Tic Tacs anyways, and when he went to give someone the Tic Tacs, it dropped out of someone's hand, and the Tic Tacs are just literally bobbing along going, and I'm just like, Daddy, did you say that? Oh. He's like, what? I was like, them Tic Tacs are laughing at you. And he was just like, what? I was like, the Tic Tacs are laughing at you. And then I just started seeing all these hallucinations. It was the first time taking one. Started seeing all these hallucinations.
Correction, 2. Taking 2.
Oh, sorry, 2. So I was tripping balls, man. Like, he was fine, but it kicked into him later. So we were walking like I say, down this wooden ramp and all the palm trees, like up, like pulling faces and stuff it is. And there was like a construction site next to our hotel, and there was like sandbags, and I had like little scrunched up faces, like laughing at us and stuff. And then everyone else looked funny, and like things just seem abnormal. Everything's bright. Yeah. Went into a 7-Eleven out there, and the aisle, I was trying to go to the fridge or refrigerator to get a bottle of water, and the aisles are closing in on us, and the floor's moving and shit, and like. It was all sorts of crazy, and like the tiled floor.
But you're having a good time though.
Oh yeah,
you're not tripping out or anything.
No, I'm laughing the whole time. Like everything's funny, you know what I mean? It's just I'm not like. I think you've got to be the right type of person or in the right mindset. You know what I mean? If you're like in a depression mode, or if you just lost like a family member, then it's probably not a good time to take it. But if you're open minded, open spirited like I am, it's good fun. You know what I mean? So. It was a great experience.
Do you remember the rest of the night, the moon and
oh man. Yeah. So then I seen like them start tripping out on them, like going to the beach party, and like they're like, wow, like everything just seems more like vibrant, you know. Yeah. It's crazy.
But man, dude, I'm jealous, dude. And see, this is cool because I thought I'd party. I mean, you've heard my stories in Hollywood and stuff like that, but I mean, you're traveling countries. You've done different things. Yeah. And some people can't even travel out of the state. Yeah. You know, a lot of us can't. A lot of us want to do these things. A lot of us work our ass off, trying to make money, and then you know, some people just don't commit, or they just can't do it. So, you know, I love talking about these stories because some people don't know what's out there. No. You know, people are just climbing towers, going home, drinking beer, doing the same shit, barely paying their bills. And I think at some point, I've always thought, you being on my crew, you know how to manage your money, you know how to save it. And I think sometimes, you know, for the younger guys that are tower climbing right now, save some money. They're single, save some money. Yep. And how much money did you bring out there and stayed out there for 8 months?
I spent a few thousand because I was like partying all the time and stuff. But like since I came out here, like or since I done that with like wind turbine course, I've there's been.
I'm talking about as far as let's say you're talking to someone right now. They're tower climbing. They've been doing it for 5 years. They're single. They're young. They're about 25. They're like, you know what? I want to travel the world, and maybe they want to take a month off, right? Because you know, Telecom's always up and down. Yeah. So let's say, you know what, I want to go live out in Thailand for a month. Yeah. How much would you need for a month to have a good time?
If you're going to like party all the time, it's obviously going to get more expensive because Thailand's getting commercialized and stuff. But I see where you're going, yeah, like people who've not done that and they want to experience that. I don't know, like on the safe side, I would try and save up like 5,000 to 10,000 just for your travel, your food, your drinks, your accommodation. It's just to be safe, you know what I mean? You could do it like the frugal way and just backpack, stay in like hostels and stuff. Like some of the hostels in Thailand, I'm sure like less than $10 a night.
Man, I'm trying to think. I saw a movie, and I saw Hostel, right? You've seen Hostel, the horror one. Yeah. I said I'm never going to Europe. Yeah. I'm never going anywhere. But then I saw another movie, and it can get pretty crazy to the point where, like out in Thailand, you have Abu Sayyaf and some crazy terrorist groups. But for the most part, I've seen a lot of hostels, which is like like a summer camp or a YMCA, and you got a lot of young people from England, from India, all over, and it's just like a party orgy, freaking just have fun, you know?
Yeah.
And it is one, is this legal in Thailand to have psilocybin mushrooms?
Oh yeah.
Or they just sell it?
They sell joints at the beach
And
bars.
they don't care. It's not.
No, it's very
cool,
it's very laid back. And my advice to anyone wanting to do that, like, just first of all, just do it. You know what I mean? You only live once. Like, I'm just like kind of glad like I never had like any kids and stuff when I was younger. You know what I mean? Like that would like that holds a lot of people back. Like if you've got like a full family, they're not going to be able to like go and explore the world. So my advice is just do it and just don't listen.
I'd say
to
bring
media.
a friend.
You could if you've got a friend. That's the thing with me.
I feel safer because I've gone to Mexico a lot of times. One, I'm Mexican. I don't speak Spanish.
Yeah.
Right. And I've been fucked a million times over there. I've been pulled over 3 times in one night. One for running a yellow light.
What?
Right? Yeah. One for running a yellow light. One time it was my fault. I peed in a planter.
Yeah.
So there's bathrooms in Mexico where you got to pay usually 25 cents.
Yeah.
And it was closed. It was under construction. That's the only bathroom at 2 a.m. So I said,
Yeah.
fuck it. I'm going to pee in a planter, paid the cop off, whatever.
Yeah.
Then the third time, I ran a stop sign or something, and I didn't.
Yeah.
So they fucked me over. So I feel more comfortable bringing a friend because if you're by yourself, or if you're with a girl, dude, as soon as you add a girl into a mix, now you got people that are trying to. You got dudes are fucking weird.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I stopped going to Mexico a long time ago because in high school, around the recession, there was a mafia war, Mexican mafia war. You know about this?
No.
And it got so bad. I kid you not. One of my buddies, his cousin went down the wrong street, raped his girlfriend, killed him afterwards, and her. And I said, I'm not going to Rosarito.
Killed your cousin?
No, my buddy. So it was one of my buddy, his cousin.
Oh, right.
They went down the wrong road, killed the dude, killed the girl, and then, after raping her in front of her, and then killed them both.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I'm fucking done.
Yeah.
And every time I got to Mexico, luckily, all they wanted was money.
Yeah.
But it got to the point, dude, there's stories upon stories. Most of them, though, have to do with some kind of drug shit. You know what I mean? So is Thailand kind of the same way or not as much?
Nah.
Okay.
See, I think like the media and stuff makes people skeptical. You just need to ignore all that bullshit. Like I never pay attention to the news. Like it's just negativity after negativity. You never see like a good story come out of the media. You know what I mean? Like, these have achieved
doesn't
this.
sell, man.
Exactly. So I would just ignore all that. Like if you've got the time, I would save up. Like you're not going to see or achieve or do much in life if you just literally do what a lot of like teenagers do, or like young adults, where they just go to work all week and then they just blow all the money on drink at the weekend. You're not going to see the world. Whereas like in England, it's pretty nice because like you can see most of Europe within a 2-hour flight. Yeah, and flights are pretty cheap and stuff. Out here, though, you can see a lot in America, like on a cheap flight, especially now. It's a little dangerous or whatever if you're concerned about the COVID, but I would just do it, man. Like ignore the politics. Like this is a prime example. I went to Cape Town. I went to Thailand in 2013. I met 2 Australian guys with James, who was from Santa Monica. We met 2 Australian guys. We went out partying with them, and then the year later, that's when I went to Cape Town. And I went to Cape Town alone, like by myself. Yeah, flew out there, like 15-hour flight or whatever. Flew to Johannesburg from London, then got there and I stayed in a hostel, Cape Town Backpackers, and literally on the first or second night, I went out with like 17 or 18 different people from all different necks of the world, like Austria, Canada, like Australia, like America, like there was just like a long table full of us, and we're going out for some Italian guy's birthday, and like just meeting that many people so quick and then just becoming like friends with them. Going out partying with them, just meeting them people and just doing all these different experiences and different excursions with them out there. Like it's like things that you'll never forget. You know what I mean? You might not keep in touch with them. It's hard to keep in touch with everyone you meet in life, but
and see, so tying this all in, now going to the tower side, that's what I love about you is that I think since day one we clicked together. You've been the most well-mannered person. You not scared of work. I mean, shit, this is kind of a vacation a little bit from all that other shit. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of it has to do with you. When you travel like this and you have different people in a room, you have to be conscious and emotional intelligent of other people's surroundings.
Yep.
And that correlates everything to being a great worker on site. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you're conscious to be like, oh, my music's too loud. Yeah. You know, so you turn it down. A lot of times, I don't give a fuck. But you're always conscious about other people because you're always worried about other people's happiness. Yeah. And also, it drives down any confrontation. Yeah. You know, you've always replaced what you take. So, you know, how many guys have you worked with? They take your tools. Oh, yeah. And who knows where they come. Oh, let me borrow. Yeah. So you always return my tools. You always know where they are. You have your own tools. And ultimately, dude, it's just so ironic that for the people that don't know, Kyle came to, I guess the first time we worked on a site, it was pretty funny. It was
with Mike in Glendale.
Glendale. Yeah. Yeah. So I was kind of new to the project. You already did a couple. You went to work. You just did your thing. You looked well prepared. You looked more than prepared. You had your little pants. I don't know if that's the English thing. You got these pants with the little flap.
I think they're called electrician's pants because electricians always have all these different tools in the pockets. Like you can take them off and put them back on.
You're seated and booted down with all these tools. Yeah. And you're like, I'm going to work. I'm like, okay, cool. And then Mike, he was, I think a month in, maybe less than a month in. Yeah. He's like, I'm going to go ahead and power up the power plant. And I'm like, what? I'm like, that took me about a year to get it down. Yeah. And then you were a fucking awesome worker. You actually taught me some stuff. The little snub nose crescent wrench for the diplexers. Yeah, yeah. And it's cool because I'm like, damn, this fool taught me some shit. I've been doing this for a while. And you're like, you need one of these small wrenches and stuff like that. You've always been well-mannered. And it was a cool experience first meeting you. And I think it was probably an interesting experience for you because me and Mike would start wrestling in shelters. And you're like, what the fuck, man? We're at work. Yeah. So the first time I met my buddy Mike Spa, rest his soul, he's not dead, but he doesn't work with us anymore because he's a bad boy. We started to get to talking the first night. This is the first time I worked with you. Yeah. First time we worked with Mike. We're on a Verizon project installing some 4449 radios that had diplexers on it. And me and Mike start talking. He starts
shadow
boxing. And I'm like, oh, you know some martial arts? He's like, yeah, man. I was a combat instructor in the Marines.
What you got?
Yeah. Basically, he's like, you want to get down? I'm like, fuck yeah, let's do it. And I actually just got out of surgery because my nose, I got my nose fixed. I had a deviated septum, so I got it fixed. Oh, shit. So we started wrestling and shit. And at first, we're just kind of playful, whatever, horsing around. We're not supposed to be horsing around, but whatever. And then it started getting a little more serious. And I'm like, oh, fuck, I can't let him advance. And then we start getting down. You're over here recording it while you're like, hey, man, we can't be doing this. But you're like, hey, I'm going to record it, but you can't be doing this, man. We're going to get in trouble and shit. And the look in your eyes, you're like, you thought someone was going to pop out like Osha and be like, hey, we're all fired or some shit. I just
didn't want to get hit. I just say knee pop out or something.
Yeah, my nose ended up bleeding. And Mike gives me shit to this day. And I was like, I gotta stop my fucking nose because it started bleeding. I just spent like $10,000 to get my nose fixed. I think it was like $5,000 or $6,000, some shit like that. But the insurance took the like half. And that was the first time we met. And then after that, we worked a couple times. I'm like, dude, you're on time. You're fucking nice. I can't say enough great things about you. And I wish there's more people like that. And that's a struggle that we have here in Southern California and all over the States. And it's crazy how you traveled the pond, you crossed the pond, which most people don't know that is the Atlantic Ocean. That's the slang. Yeah. But you traveled all the way from England, and not only you, but it's two other of you guys. Yeah. So, and you guys are fucking amazing, man. All
Thank you.
3 of you guys go to work. You're on time. I love your stories. And I just wish we could duplicate more of you guys. The one other thing I do want to talk about, and this is very important because a lot of people from out of country, like I said, they keep asking me, hey, how do I get out there? How to do stuff? And from talking to you, it is mainly out of luck. You were at the right place at the right time. and you got your foot in the door. But the one thing that I'm fearful for you guys, and when I say you guys, is who got you in over here? Because there's in the company I work with, you're a contractor.
Yeah.
And that's another thing I want to mention. Right now, you're on a 40-day probation, or what do they call it?
It's called is it a furlough? It's like a 45-day furlough. So basically, if you're a contractor in the US, I didn't know this when I first
came out. And you are a
here.
contractor.
Yeah. So every 18 months, I've got to take a 45-day break. It's some law
mandatory.
that yeah. So it can't be avoided. I don't get paid for it. We don't get paid for it. So basically, every 18 months, I've got to take a 6-week break. Otherwise, our company would have to, what do you call it? Take us on pretty much.
Gotcha.
By law.
So it sounds like something they're trying to avoid some taxes, or they're finding some loopholes to get out of.
Yeah. So I think it'll be a breach of contract against our contractor, like who recruited us, because our visa is sponsored by them. So the company can't hire us on directly because they'd be stepping on their toes and be breach of contract, and it could be a lawsuit or whatever. Yeah. So it is what it is.
So you put your let me recap this again so people could follow the bouncing ball here. You put your information on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Right? Diving is up and down. So you're like, you know what? I need to look for maybe another diving job, or I need to look for some other avenue to create money. You put your information on there, and somebody says, hey, let's go out to you want to come out to California or LA.
Yeah.
What was your thoughts then? Because now you're separating yourself. I mean, for instance, I'm moving to Arizona.
Yeah.
That's 5 hours away.
Yeah.
My mom lives in Chino Hills, California, which is, I live in Seal Beach right now. That's in 45-minute drive, right? Now I'm going to be 5-6 hours away, which I could do that on a weekend. Not a big deal. But now, I mean, you already got an idea of traveling out of country. You've been to Italy, been to Thailand, you've been all these other places. But correct me if I'm wrong, that was never going to be permanent. You knew that was just going to be a job.
Yeah. It was kind of like a break from reality, if you like a break from, because back in England, it's literally just what you've said. It's like you go to Huntington Beach down here and all the kids are just going out drinking, then they go back to work the next week, and it just repeats. Like, so it was the same in England. I was getting bored of it. So
you're going to fucking moon parties.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to Cape Town. Yeah. You're going to different things.
Yeah, it's always been an ambition to like travel. A lot of people have got that mindset. They just haven't got the mindset to work for it. Like, I never had well-paying jobs when I was in college and stuff. You know what I mean? I try to save as much money as I could to travel and do these excursions and go on these like week or two holidays. And then once I left school and I had all like the better jobs, like the diving job, and I saved up more money and stuff, I just thought, well, I can go further and I can see more things. Like, it was always a dream of mine to like go and travel the world. You know what I mean? It still is. So
damn, no, and that's awesome. But now someone approaches you and says, hey, you want to move to LA, and in your brain you have to understand that's the long haul.
Yeah.
And what was your deciding factors to move out here, to be away from your family, you know, for years?
Yeah.
Potentially.
Yeah. Like I say, the previous like travel and stuff, like I didn't mind it. I kind of like being away from home, even though I do miss family and friends and stuff. But the deciding factor was I was working on a construction site in Middlesbrough at the time on a piling job. Like, it was all right. The pay wasn't as good, but it was a job, you know what I mean? So I got the email on that job, and I just thought it was another recruiter trying to waste me time. Like, they were just going to try and lowball and stuff. Then they mentioned like the rate and stuff, and I was like, I'll be honest, like, at the time I was probably getting more money back in England than I was out here. Okay. But I'd always wanted to go to America. I'd been to Vegas before, but that's not really America.
What enticed you to come to America? Was it a movie you saw, music?
Nah, just like a different experience in life. You know what I mean? I've got a few friends out here. I've got a friend who lives in New York. I've got a friend who lives in San Diego. And like just seeing all their like lifestyles and stuff, and like it's just a big change. You know what I mean? Like, America is like the American dream, if you like just how much I could travel, like, from being in a certain spot in America. So
maybe out of curiosity, you're like, hey, I've already explored that part of the world. Now I want to go to where they got guns. They don't know what to fucking do. As far as Democrat and Republican, they're always fighting each other. and McDonald's.
I didn't really pay much attention to the politics side of things. It's just like, I'd always wanted to see LA. Like, I'd always want to go to, like, see more of Vegas. I'd always want to go to San Francisco. I always want to go to San Diego. The training was in Dallas, so I thought, oh, well, I'll see a lot of Texas in that 3-4 weeks that I'm there.
Correct.
And
so they hit you up.
Yeah.
And you're like, how long did it take you to decide, like, okay, let's do this?
I think it was like,
once you knew exactly that this was for real.
I took like a 2 months.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Yeah. So like I kind of had a job to work offshore on the wind turbines, which was going to be pretty good money, like $400 or $500 a day if I got it. And my friend had got in with the recruitment company, and I was close again with them. So I remember driving to the local supermarket, actually speaking to my mum about this opportunity. And she's like, America, like, how long are you going out there for and stuff? And I told her, I was like, oh, well, they said it's a 5-year visa. They'll pay for me flights, me accommodation. And I was just like, it sounds good, too good to be true. And then I thought it was. And then literally they sent me, like, my train ticket and my embassy appointment to go to the embassy in London. It's like a 3-4 hour train ride away from Newcastle where I live. I was like, they're sending us for this. Like, it must be legit. So I could have just turned around and said, oh, you know, it is. Like, I just want to work offshore and do that.
Yeah.
I was like, I've always been like quite adventurous. Like,
well, I could tell. Yeah.
I literally get back from Tomorrowland and then I'd go to Ibiza like 2 days later. I went with Adam and Riddell. You know what I mean? Just like, I've always been like kind of, what do you call it? I don't know. Where it's
adventurous.
Yeah. So
I'm the same
spontaneous.
way.
Spontaneous.
Yeah.
So like, if an opportunity like arises, I'm just like, whatever. Let's go.
It's almost a form of ADHD. Do you have ADHD?
Probably. Yeah.
So for instance, most people get this confused. ADD, because I have ADHD, diagnosed with it.
Yeah.
It took me a long time to wrestle it down to where I could actually function. So sometimes my brain, I don't make sense sometimes. But ADD is you can only function on one thing.
Yeah.
Right? You're like, yo, hey, could you explain something to me? And it takes them a long time just to focus on one thing. ADHD is a million different things going on in their head.
Yep.
So I find that feature the same with me. I'm adventurous. Like you said, I'll be out in Stagecoach one day, partying it up with all the country people, and then next thing I'm at a reggae concert, and then I'm over here at EDC, and I'm eating tacos. I'm here, this and this. I mean, that's a Southern California thing, especially. I don't know. London's a very diverse melting pot. Yeah. So it just comes with nature changing things.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's just a thing with me. Like, I like try new things and do new things, and that was just why. But basically, I got that email. There was a back and forth with, I think she was called Claire, the recruiter, and then next thing I knew, I was traveling to London for the embassy meeting and stuff, and I was just like, okay. And then the embassy visa got approved, and then they were like, okay, when do you want to fly? And I'm just like, oh, whatever. So I was just like, it was honestly, it was like, I knew in the back of my head if it was legit, like it was a big opportunity. Like 5 years in America, even if I wasn't going to stay here for the long haul, it would have been an experience. I've got no kids. Like, I've got nothing holding us back. Like, I was back living with my parents in England. I was just like, there's nothing holding us back. Let's do it, kind of thing. Then I told Adam about it. He told Jared about it. And then before we know it,
so you're the person that opened up the door.
Yeah.
To get all these English guys out here.
Yeah.
So now you're out here, and to explain to the viewers, especially people living out of country that want to come over here, one, it's just super hard to already find a job out here when you live in a country. Yeah. And then two, you have the factor in of you got to get a visa, a work visa. Yeah. There's a lot of money involved, I'm assuming, for the company. Yeah. So why, in my opinion, why am I going to invest, all this money on somebody that works across country instead of just hiring somebody here?
Exactly.
So that's very rare that you came in. I think the company that we work for was just trying to get people from different avenues. They had a big idea. So you got super lucky. But my opinion, for people that want to come out here, basically you have to save money. I think it's minimum $10,000, what you've told me.
Yeah.
That's a cheap way? No. I'm sorry. To obtain your visa, permanent visa?
Yeah. If you want to try...
Green card. Yeah. Citizenship.
No, to get out, you either need a work visa or you need someone to sponsor the green card, I think. But you have to be a special... Like, you have to be like a lawyer or a surgeon or like someone like
so let's say, because you've explained to me basically the process of becoming a citizen, an American citizen, is $10,000 minimum, right?
Invested.
Well, I guess to do it with a lawyer.
This is probably for the the green card's not that much, but to get the green card, to get an
Like
immigration,
permanent. I'm talking about permanent.
Oh, you need to either get married and be
Okay.
married for, I think it's 2 years or 5 years before you can apply for your citizenship.
Okay.
That's where you get like your US passport and stuff, but you have to be right. So you have to get married. You have to stay married for 2 years, I think.
Okay.
And then I think you have to be in the country for 5 years before you can apply for citizenship.
Really?
I think so.
Wow.
Like no like convictions or anything like that. So you have to be staying there for 5 years clean before you can apply for the citizenship. For the visa, I believe you need to have a sponsor. You can't just go to the embassy and be like, I want to pay $8,000 for the
So basically,
visa.
someone has to invest in you to come out here.
Exactly.
That's what a sponsorship is.
That's why I didn't believe it was legit, because I was thinking to myself, why are they trying to recruit British guys to go work in America and then just recruit American guys?
Yeah.
So I'm like, one, we're kind of stealing the jobs. I was like, that doesn't make sense. But that's why I didn't want to believe it at first. That's why it took 2 months to kind of say yes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but I mean, they were sending guys. I think we were one of the first groups, the first British guys, when I spoke to Rick and them and Tony at the Rackham.
Mm-hmm.
I think they were saying we're the first British guys to come through, and there was a lot of us. There was Max, me, Danny, Adam.
And you guys were all from
Chris,
England?
yeah. And then
There's some some Irish bloke up in Northern California.
Irish.
Yeah. He got hired on too. I don't know if you know him.
I think I know who you mean. Danny was Scottish, and he moved in Pleasanton at first, and then he's in Dallas now, but I think it might be his buddy who stayed up there. But,
So to, I guess, wrap that part up for people, because a lot of people have been asking me, it's pretty fucking hard to come out here if you're out of country. I think English, proper English, obviously you didn't have a language barrier.
yeah.
But I got people from Brazil, Russia, South America, there's just even Canada. But
Yeah.
I think the advantage is if you know English,
Yeah.
which you need to enunciate.
Yeah.
A lot of people have problems with communicating with me because their English is poor.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I give credit for people that are even trying to pick up a second language. I give credit to my grandma. She came over here from Mexico. She knows Spanish and broken English, but still, people give shit about people that have broken English. But I'm like, I don't see you
Yeah.
trying to pick up another language.
Yeah.
So I think English is going to be your number one factor that's going to help you coming over here.
Yeah.
Having some kind of association, so either with work, some bird, is that what you
Yeah.
call them? Some old bird, some crazy bird, which is a girl.
Yeah.
So basically, if you find a girl and you truly fall in love with them and get married or whatever, or find somebody that, I don't know what you'd say, because they're pretty technical on making sure you guys are actually marrying for the right reasons. I've heard questions. Have you done one of those interrogations?
Nah, I will when I start applying for the green card and stuff. I think they do that stuff.
Sheldon's from, I think it's Haiti. I don't know, but
Yeah.
so he's a citizen.
Yeah.
He got it pretty lucky too. He got to pay some money. I think he only paid like $3 or $5,000, but this is 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And they say they ask some weird questions like, what does your wife do in the bedroom? Who sleeps on the left side or the right side of the bed? Crazy stuff. I'm like, how the hell could they say stuff like that? But they really integrate you to make sure you're not just getting a visa for that. So most of you thinking, okay, I'll find some crazy bird that I can settle down with.
Yeah.
It's going to blow up in faith. You truly have to find someone that you want to settle down with here with. And then from there, it's still, even when you get your foot in the door to get a work visa, the job's not done there.
No.
You still need to pay more money.
Yeah.
And there's just more hoops you got to cross.
Yeah.
And I know you have to learn American history.
Yeah.
Because my coach in jiu-jitsu, he became a citizen maybe 2 years ago. So with Gracie Baja, it's a jiu-jitsu organization.
Yeah.
And Rio de Janeiro and a lot of places in Brazil, it's kind of hard to be successful there. So what they're doing is training people jiu-jitsu in Brazil and then sending them out here to get to create schools.
Yeah.
But then from there they try to get their sponsorship or get their permanent visa or become a citizen, and they make them go through a course of learning American history. They have to pass a test like the Pledge of Allegiance and all that stuff, which I think is very cultish, I think. Like, I think it's great, but I don't even think they do Pledge of Allegiance anymore in class. Yeah. So that's it, guys. That's how you come into America the right way and become a citizen. It's pretty hard to almost impossible now with COVID, because you, with this permanent, your work put you on a 60 day 45 day like, mandatory
like furlough kind of thing. It's
just like, it sounds like you're not working, you're not getting paid. No. Right? So you have to save your money and do all that. So what have you been doing on your time? Just watching UFC fights?
Getting sunburned yesterday.
Yeah.
Went to her family's like one of our birthday parties and stuff. I just been like trying to read up on new stuff and
congrats on being married. It's been what, 8-9 months?
Yeah, it'll be a year come October.
Yeah, but you love Mina, right?
Oh yeah.
In case she's listening right now, right?
Yeah, she knows.
Not just for the card.
Yeah, she knows. But no, it's I think anyone who wants to get over here, like I know you've got a lot of people hitting you up. I would just say like do some research, speak to an attorney, speak to an immigration attorney out here. You know what I mean? Like because it's gonna be hard, like for any telecom company to choose someone who lives out of country to here. There's a lot more logistics to it. Like it's not just the cost of it. You know what I mean? Because like the bigger companies are going to pay for your travel, they're going to pay for your hotel and the training. Yeah. But I think like coming out like from a different country, you're gonna have some sort of like quality that other people don't have. You're gonna have to have an advantage to come from an out of state country. I'm not saying I did. I'm literally we're lucky we got the opportunity. That's why we took it. You know what I mean? I'm glad. Like we could have done different things and still be in England right now, which isn't bad. You know what I mean? But the opportunity out here is a lot greater. Like I believe the lifestyle out here is a lot greater than it is in England. The weather's definitely a lot nicer. So there's a lot more to see and do. You know what I mean? There's a lot of like monumental places, the Grand Canyon, like not too far from us. So what I'm trying to say is anyone who's thinking about coming out here, like literally do your research, speak to recruiters on LinkedIn, speak to immigration attorneys in your country, in this country, and like try and find like how you can get out here. You know what I mean? Like I know one of the ways is obviously getting married. That's the easiest one, I suppose. The other one, I think you've got to invest $500,000. Obviously that's not viable to a lot of people. Damn. And there's other ones there too, like, but I would just, if you really want to do it, like, you've got to put in the work to get out here, you know what I mean? Like, not everyone's going to get the same opportunity, so.
That shows, man, I'm grateful for you because, like I said, you make my life easier at work. That's the people we need. Yeah. Simple things. Yeah. Like I said, whatever you take, you give back, and I try to give back to you. Hopefully I'm a good lead and foreman for you.
You're going to be missed, yeah.
But, that shows to you that this company, you guys are fucking awesome. All you, Adam, and Jared. So it's 3 of you that came out here. You guys have been friends forever. And the company appreciates you so much that they're willing to do all those expenses and all that stuff and to hang on to you. And I know you're well on your way to becoming a permanent resident here. It sounds like, well, you're married, so you're stuck with at least Mina for the rest of your life.
Yep.
If you like it or not.
Yeah.
Even if you separate financially in California, you're fucked.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
But I mean, it sounds like you're going to be here. I mean, what's the future for you? Is Telecom going to be? And the thing is, you could be truthful. Is you don't have to.
Oh no, I told you before. Like, I don't want to work until I'm 65, 70. It's never been.
Well, I don't think it's viable in Telecom for.
Oh no.
It's very rare, but shit, dude, my knees are starting.
Yeah. No, it's for me. I've never wanted to do that. That's why I've always thought about investing. Like, that's one of my other goals too. Like, I want to have X amount of like rental properties. I want to have like X amount in stocks, X amount in this, X amount in that. So I want to have like different investments. So I should have started a lot earlier, but obviously life takes over kind of thing. And I just want to have I want to be financially set so I don't have to work. Like, hopefully in the next like 5 to 10 years, I can have different different streams of incomes. Like, I've been doing like research on like YouTube and stuff.
I think you're gonna make it, bro. Because every time we travel all the time, man, we've had some good times.
Oh yeah.
We've been to Seattle.
Yeah. Julian.
But were we out in Arizona together? I think so. Maybe for a little bit.
Yeah, I think.
But most people travel all the time, go to strip clubs, go to bars. I did mainly that. But you're always locked up in a room reading books, reading this, and that. And that's cool, man. I love that.
Yeah.
You come, I don't know. I can't think we ever came out and partied. You're always like.
Nah, I don't think so. Like, nah, I don't think we did.
So that's dedication, man.
Yeah, I mean, I was all about that life. Like, before 5 years ago, I was all about that life, going to like festivals and nightclubs and this and that. But even for a little bit when I first came out, when I started like dating Mina, but nah, I think once you start reading and listening to different people's stories about how they've got to where they are and they're not working anymore and they've got all these different businesses and franchises and the well set, they've got the vacation homes and Dana Point and all the rest. Once you start listening to them kind of stories, like you realize like there's more to life, you know what I mean? Like this isn't going to get you anywhere, like a drink and whatever, like a nightclub it's not too bad. But once you start evolving your life around that, like once you get to Friday and you're like, oh yes, I can't wait to party like this weekend, that's when life's going to go downhill, man. Like it's going to get repetitive, you know what I mean? Like I'm the type of person that if I do the same thing for too long, I start to get like bored and I want to do different things. I think.
No, man, you're 100% on that, because I think I've told you my stories. I had to separate myself away from that lifestyle.
Yeah.
That Hollywood, since you come out here, it's cool, but now it's not, dude. Yeah, we can talk about it later right now, but we had to deal with some guy shitting between the trucks.
Yeah.
Someone was shooting at someone right next to us.
Yeah.
LA's it's a shithole right now. But I partied in that lifestyle, exactly what you're talking about. And, you know, I'm ashamed to say I spent $300 on a pair of pants because I was trying to go to the nightclub, show off, spend all my money on that. I spent a lot of time. I've seen the darkest secrets of Hollywood and all that stuff. And one day it clicked and I was like, dude, I'm fucking over this shit, dude. Most of those people aren't happy.
No.
Dude, I don't know if I told you the story. I went to a party, right? And it was a mansion. Went to this mansion. I walk in. It was a nice fucking house. And the mother was a teacher, right? And she's like, as soon as we walked in, hey, do you guys want a drink, this and that? I'm like, oh, that's cool. Their son is watching TV, right? And then the dad, he's like a Middle Eastern guy, so I don't know. I'm thinking he's in the oil. They have a lot of, they're actually pretty smart. They have a lot of different jobs and stuff and companies. And we walk in, and there's a bunch of young girls, a little bit older crowd and stuff like that. But these people are like closer to 40s, maybe over 40 years old. And on the kitchen table, a mound of fucking Coke. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck? They were nice. They were super nice. Like, hey, do you want a line? We're like, nah, I'm good. I've never liked smoke or sniffing things up my nose. I think I've told you that. And the kid's just watching cartoons and shit. And the mom's like, hey, I'll make you a little cocktail. You want something? We also have Coke here. And I'm like, that's very nice. They're super, super nice, you know? And I'm just like, what the fuck? And then all of a sudden the mom's like, hey, little Johnny or whatever his name was, hey, it's past bedtime. You need to go to bed. And he's like, oh, okay. And there's literally a mound of Coke and the kid there. And I'm like, dude, what kind of fucking lifestyle is this, man? So I realized that these people that have millions and millions of dollars, they can't be happy. They need all this shit to be happy. Yep. They can't live without it.
Yep.
And it's same here in Huntington Beach, San Diego. There's so many different, I've been in so many different situations with people that have a shitload of money.
Yep.
And so I've learned that too little money is
frustrating.
Yeah. And then you have billions of dollars and millions of dollars. You get bored, man. Yep. So you have to tune yourself into that. So I think that's a great feature that I like to think I'm well balanced. But, you know, for me, I go out and party when we go out. You know, when we're out in Seattle, I went out and this and that. But I'm learning this shit right here. I learned how to do a podcast. I learned how to do computer stuff. Yep. That's kind of my niche. So I try to even that all out, and hopefully that can inspire some people to not just waste their money. Yep. So I think I'm the definition and you're the definition, but I think you're well mannered than me of showing what happens when you spend too much money.
Yeah.
When you have too much money, spend it, and you don't put it in the right avenue, and you have to save your money.
Yeah. That's the thing too. I think if people go down that road of saving money, I'm like contemplating on what I want to do now. Like I'm saving up like money now, and like that's what I'm kind of living off, being off. I've still got to pay rent and stuff, being on this break. But I think if people just keep the money in the savings, it's kind of like a catch-22 where they don't want to spend the savings, but they don't want to invest the savings. They just want to have that in like a nice little nest egg. But if what I'm trying to say is like I've just started like reading like again like last year or whatever. But what I'm trying to say is if you educate yourself on how to manage money, like money is not everything, but if you can manage money, like especially like in telecom, it's hard because if you do go out of state and you start working, and all the other guys are like, oh, let's go for a beer tonight, it becomes a tradition. So before you know it, the whole reason why you went out of state to work is for the more money, but then you come back and you've got less money than you would have had if you're working in your home market. So like I don't know,
that's a catch-22, man.
You're seeing that in Seattle where like certain people are like, oh, you're coming out for a beer tonight, we'll just have one like with a meal and stuff, but it doesn't turn that. Like they end up trying to go to a strip club or a nightclub or whatever, and you end up spending hundreds of dollars. So
there's a right way to do it. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. I'm cheap as fuck. You are too. I like that. I'm a penny pincher, but you're more of a penny pincher.
Yeah.
When I go to clubs and stuff, I buy little bottles, little 99 bananas or 99 coconuts. They're like $1 at the gas station. I stuff them in my pocket and I go buy one $12 beer. Fucking pop, pop, pop. And there you go. So if you guys, that's gonna be another podcast on how you want to party on a budget.
Yeah.
Other than that, man, I think I'm gonna try to wrap this up. We're almost at 2 hours.
Damn.
Yeah, man, that diving story is phenomenal, man. And I'm gonna miss you, bro.
I know.
It's gonna suck, but not that far away. And to be honest, you're the one person out of this whole 2020. You're genuine, man. I found out that you're not racist. You listen. You're so calm. I don't think the only time I saw you pissed off was maybe a couple weeks ago when the UFC match was going on.
Oh yeah.
That's it. That's it. I've never seen you flip out. Have you seen me flip out?
No, not really.
Oh, you know what? Let's leave him. Should we leave him with that story?
The one in Julian. No, the time with the UFC, obviously I had a few beers, and so I get frustrated sometimes. Like I'm not an MMA fighter. I'm just like. But I hate it when they're just like they're hugging each other against the cage. Obviously they're tired and stuff. But like when you want someone to win, you just like come and just like
if it was I get it. I think that was me when I saw McGregor against Diaz.
Yeah,
I think it was the first one.
Yeah,
and I was like, fuck, no, come on, But I'll leave this one story. I think that's probably the most you've seen me pissed off.
Oh, 100%.
That's probably the most I've seen myself pissed off.
Yeah.
So we got a site out in Julian, California, which is up in the hills where it just snowed. So you were in the cab. We had another vehicle. The first issue was we couldn't even find this place. So they gave us some GPS coordinates that we couldn't find it. We're going through people's random houses, this and that. I'm getting a little frustrated. So I finally find the road to get up to it. Everything's covered in snow.
Yeah.
And we got this guy named Peter. And he is our second vehicle. Not the smartest guy. He's, I don't know, close to his 50s, over his 50s. He's told me he's done a lot of drugs in the past, so his brain's not always there. Hey, this is his own words, man. He told me. And so I'm trying to find the location. We get split. I finally find the place, and I get stuck. I get the truck stuck, and it's a single road. It's some switchbacks.
One thing you forgot is we told him specifically to wait at the gate.
That's the thing. He called me. So I get the truck stuck.
Yeah.
Hey, Ryan. Hey, I found a gate. I'm going to come up. Peter, do not come up. I'm stuck. This site's going to be called off. I'm going to come down the hill. Do me a favor. Yeah, Ryan, what do you want? Okay, pick a spot anywhere in town, and I'm going to meet you there. Oh, okay. So you want me to pick a spot? Yes, Peter, pick a fucking spot. Anywhere. I don't give a shit. Send me the coordinates. I'm in a bind right now. I don't have time to look for a place. Oh, hey, there's a Julian's Pie down the road. You want to meet at the Julian Pies? Fucking sure, Peter. I don't give a shit. Pick a spot. Let me know. Or what about the gas station? You want to meet at the gas station? Bro, I don't give a shit. Okay, I'll guess with the Julian pies. Okay, fine. Cool. Just send me the coordinates. We'll go there. Do not come up. I don't want you to get stuck while I'm coming down. Okay, got it, boss. You're the boss. I got it. I'll meet you at Julian Pies. Cool, man. Sounds great. Hey, maybe get me a pie when you get down there. So we start digging out the snow. We scraped it off. I find a little bit of traction. And I'm coming down the hill. And it's a pretty steep hill. And I see the roof of a fucking car coming down the hill. And I'm like, who the fuck is on this road? And sure enough, it's a Peter fucking Floric motherfucker. So I'm coming down the hill, and I'm trying to go to a very gradual stop. And I get down to 5 miles per hour. Pump the brakes a little bit, and all of a sudden, I go to a rolling stop. And the next thing I know, I start sliding all over the fucking place. And we're about to slide right off the fucking, it looked like the ledge. We're about to go off the fucking cliff. Yeah. And sure enough, there's a car fucking stop. I had to stop because there was a truck blocking the only fucking road. Yep. And I tried to brake, and I hit ice, and I started sliding down. So it was either go off the fucking ledge or crash in this car. So I fucking sideswipe him. Boom, hit him. Hey, man. Fuck, I shouldn't have been here, huh? I was like, oh, this motherfucker, dude. Are you serious? Why are you up here, Peter? I told you to go meet me way down the road. You're miles away out of here. Oh, well, I came up the hill to talk to this guy, and I shouldn't have talked to this guy. And then I tried to turn up on the hill. So long story short, we're both stuck now. I to avoid going off the cliff, I sideswiped him, and it came to a stop. So now you got 2 trucks just hugging each other side by side
on the ledge.
And I'm pissed. I'm like, I just need to collect my shit.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden Peter gets in his truck and he starts to go somewhere. I'm like, dude, don't fucking go anywhere. Yep. Just stay calm. We got to figure this shit out. The guy had a backhoe. He was going to dig us out, pull us out and stuff. But this motherfucker decided to do whatever the fuck he want. And he started sliding off the edge. And then I started screaming. And long story short, I lost my fucking cool. Kicked him off my fucking crew. Yeah, because he didn't listen. We ended up getting out of that situation, and this fool, out of all shit, this fool, after all this shit, he goes, hey, are you going to call the insurance company? Because you kind of hit me and shit. I'm like, this motherfucker, dude, you call the insurance company. We work for the same company. You tell them what the fuck goes on, what's going on and shit. And yeah, I think that was the most pissed I've ever been.
He didn't want to listen. I lived in Colorado, man. I did this for years. I'm like, well, what do you want to do? And then he did it, and then he ended up hitting your truck more. And I'm like, Pierre, just stop and listen, man. There's no rush. Like, we need to think about this. We need to get some photos. Like, if we need to report it, like, I didn't want to listen, did he? He just wanted to go. And then the only way he got out is because that guy had a little tractor thing, with a scooper, and he dug Peter's like downhill side out. So when he actually reversed, the front side slid out, but the back still hit your truck, so it caused more damage. And you just didn't want to listen. Hey, Papa, are you mad at me?
Then he's like, hey, did you kick me off my crew? I'm like, fuck yeah. He's like, I think that's a little excessive. I'm like, no, you don't fucking listen to me. Anyways, bro, before you leave, I got these hats that I'm gonna give you one, bro. I got these tan ones or black ones. Which one do you want?
Oh shit!
I gotta get you some merch before I leave.
Appreciate it, man.
So we got this black one.
Oh, I like that.
Or the tan one. Or do you want both? Fuck it. Here you go. Here's both, bro. There you go.
I'll take the.
Take both. Give one to Mina.
I'll take the black one.
Give one to Mina.
I'll let you take it to your new friends in Arizona.
See, you're too nice. Look at that. I'm trying to give you some shit for free, and you still only want to take one.
The black one.
Anyways, bro, do you got anything you want to shout out? Anybody?
I'll try it later.
Anybody you want to shout out to, or anything you want to leave this podcast to?
I'm just sad you're leaving us, man.
I know.
But good luck in Arizona. Hopefully you get everything squared away.
I'm visiting you, bro.
I know.
I'll bring in my air mattress and stay on your pad because we still got to go shooting. We still got to do a proper off-roading.
Yeah.
We got some shit. Yeah, you're literally the only person I've hung out since this whole 2020 thing. I had to drop a bunch of friends, and you're one of the most genuine people on and off camera and work. And hey, man, you want to do some investing? Arizona's the place, bro.
Oh, I know. Seriously?
Just convincing Mina.
Yeah.
I know you'd probably be down, but
Oh, definitely.
anyways,
Scottsdale's nice.
got anything else?
I think that's it, man. Just good luck in Arizona, and I hope you, like I say, I hope you get everything squared away. You get a new job, and you enjoy your new pad, and then you save for a nice house out there.
What nickname that I leave you with? Are you gonna stick with Toe Jam or Red Coat?
Red coat.
All right.
Especially now I'm burned. I've got the sunburn.
Red Coat, obviously, he doesn't know anything about the Revolutionary War, so I had to teach him about what a red coat is because I call him Red Coat all the time over the radio. And the second thing was Toe Jam is because you ran over your foot with your own scissor lift. All right, man.
That's been
I'm gonna miss you, but I'll be around.
Yeah, man.
And that's it, man. You hungry?
I'm good.
No. I was gonna say maybe we go chill somewhere near the beach right now or something.
Oh, we can. Yeah, sounds
okay.
good.
All right, let's go do that. All right, later, everyone. Peace out.
Thank you for listening to American Tower Climbers. We hope you enjoyed the ride.
I love the show, guys. You're awesome.
For more information and updates, make sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at American Tower Climbers.
I always follow him.
Until next time, take care, y'all.